Hello everyone, I'm Dick Wolf and welcome to the County Buzz. We're at the Franklin County Extension Office off Joyce Lane, and as you can see we've got a bevy of conversational people here. I'm going to start to my left with Mary Beth Henley. Thank you, Mary, for gathering your crew here. This is Jonathan, and you're Jonathan Johns, and you're the 4-H agent.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and John Farrell, a familiar face to just about every farmer in Franklin County that's had a bug or a leaf they didn't know what it was. And Ed Burns, who writes a column, among other things, for the Herald Chronicle. And well, welcome. And Mary Beth, tell us about the Extension Office and its role in the community.
Well, the Extension Office is a branch of the University of Tennessee and Tennessee State University, and from that we provide education to better the lives of the people in the communities all across the state of Tennessee. Extension is located in all 95 counties in the state of Tennessee, and we're fortunate to have an Extension office here in Franklin County and have the program areas of Small Farm hosted by the Tennessee State University in cooperation with the University of Tennessee. So it's a great resource here for the county, for the people of Franklin County. We serve in the area of family and consumer sciences, which is what I do, 4-H, youth development, and then in agriculture, in small farm and in large farm.
So, well, can we run down the list? Jonathan, you're the 4-H guy, so you work with the youth of Franklin County.
I do.
Just give us a quick description of some of your activities and duties.
Well, we do 5 in-school club meetings for elementary schools where we do focus on public speaking. We do a poster contest, which also, a lot of things we do in schools meet a lot of the standards that our teachers are using nowadays. And a lot of parents don't realize that. So sometimes if you hear a little pushback because they have to, their kid has to make brownies or give a speech to their classmates. And, you always hear about those students like, I don't want to get up in front of the classmates and, give a speech. But, we're teaching public speaking skills. We're teaching, decision-making skills through our judging teams that we promote with livestock and dairy. We do outdoor meat cookery, which teaches food prevention, food handling skills. We have 4-H'ers that exhibit animals. We do Clover Bowl, which is a great way for 4-H'ers to learn about Tennessee history, agriculture, 4-H history. We have camps. We have camps all through the summer. We have 4-H camp, which we've actually started sign-ups for that right now. It's a great way to spend the summer. We go to Clyde M. York 4-H Center in Crossville, Tennessee. We also are getting ready to start our 4-H archery program next week. We've got, hopefully we'll have about 16 or so 4-H'ers involved with that. And it's a 5-week course where we teach them mainly 4th and 5th graders, beginning how to shoot a bow and arrow, and then they get to go on to an archery competition. So we got a lot of things going on right now. Last night I was at our sub-regional public speaking contest where we had 10 4-H'ers competing against 4-H'ers from other counties. So a lot of stuff going on right now.
So you have all this fun and you still get a paycheck?
Yeah, I do.
What a lucky guy. John Farrell, you and I have met many times, sometimes about bugs and other things. So tell us, you're with the University of Tennessee State University.
Yeah.
And tell us about your activities at the Ag Center here.
Some of my focus has been on, most of them are on small farms. Then we have a lot of people interested in beekeeping. It really took off in early 2000. We had a group of people that wanted to learn how to keep bees, and it snowballed, and we got the Elk Valley Beekeepers Association. We meet here monthly, have somewhere 150 members, but people are busy. We usually average about 85 people show up here once a month to learn about beekeeping topics. And we had a beginning course in February, first of the month, 2-night course to help beginning beekeepers. And then we've been working on the farmers market, trying to get us a permanent facility where people have a direct marketing outlet for those vegetables. And also I hold master beef training for beef producers, educational program that's about 7 to 10 topics on beef management practices.
So a busy day. And Ed Burns, you handle agriculture and natural resources and
community resource development.
Yeah. So tell us about your...
Well, we just finished up last month probably one of our bigger programs is the Middle Tennessee Grain Conference. We started this was our 11th conference. Been very well attended. I think we were right at 20-something counties represented and had right at 300 folks to participate. Bulk of that, about half of that's farmers. But anyway, it's a good way that farmers can come in and we pretty much work on that year round as far as hitting the hot topics, what's going to be some of the topics they're going to be facing this cropping season, things they can take and use hopefully to improve the bottom line for this year. We finished up a program here last week on landowner issues as far as land rent. We're looking at, row cropping could be have some economic issues coming up, and looking at land lease alternatives, different ways of doing it than the traditional cash or share crop lease. Probably the next thing after that we got is looking at something under community resource development. We've been working with the Dogwood Festival in a plant auction.
I was going to ask you about that.
Designed to create a foundation for a Franklin County student going into agriculture. We completed that last year. We hit our goal of $25,000. So the money was sent to UT Foundation. There it will grow. And now it's just a matter of getting those funds. And we've got a student that's going to enter the University of Tennessee in agriculture, then they have a means of some type of funding. Then we'll be looking at our crop variety trials. We generally do somewhere around 70 corn varieties, about that many soybeans, and we'll probably harvest right at 20 wheat trials. This coming spring and wheat.
We talk a lot about industrial development, but a lot of people don't understand how great Franklin County is in terms of ag production. I think we are, number 2 in landscape agriculture?
I don't know where we rank it. That's changed so much. But, it's about right now it's about an $80 million industry. That is the products of the value of the products sold.
This is landscape agriculture?
No, this is all agriculture, yeah. So, that money comes in and that goes to generate a lot of different things. And what the rule of thumb, 7 times that is what the community aspect. Another thing John and I both work on is the Ag Enhancement Program. This is a Tennessee State Department of Agriculture program that provides cost share to folks for different beef genetics, working facilities. It also includes goats and sheep and grain storage. There's a lot of different things that farmers, if they need those on-farm improvements, that they can apply for and get cost share assistance on.
Ag tourism is big, and although I want to also get into competition, do not Franklin County farmers compete in terms of irrigated and non-irrigated corn production, soy production, and the like? Well,
there's the National Corn Growers Contest, and then there are some contests out there like that. And yes, we've had a number to participate in. They do divide it up as far as irrigated, non-irrigated, but every year, the seed corn companies usually pay for that.
When we see a sign that says decal or something like that at the
well,
end of the road,
a lot of times you see those, they're promoting that variety. That farmers, that if you see several signs, that's probably a variety trial, looking at the different varieties, comparing them side to side.
So winter, summer, spring, or fall, there's always something to do in the agricultural business?
There's always something.
Well, Mary Beth, does that keep you busy?
It keeps me very busy because, being the director here, I kind of dabble in all areas of the extension business, and I do hold a little bit of responsibility for our youth. So I assist Jonathan quite a bit with local programs. I do a lot of the summer programs, do sewing workshops down here, some cooking schools, and I'll be working with John Farrell at the Farmers Market this summer, doing some demonstrations on Saturdays, hosting the abundance of foods that come from Franklin County, how to cook locally. And that'll be something positive, I think, for the community, because some people, they want to buy it, but they don't know what to do with it, how to cook it, other than fry it. And of course, we want to offer some healthy alternatives to preparing the foods. I do a lot of parenting classes here. I work very closely with our family and community education clubs, which we have 5 active clubs here in the community. And those ladies meet monthly throughout the community, and they have educational programs at their monthly meetings. They also do some community service work. And one of the community service pieces that I am very proud of is we have a quilt club that meets the first Wednesday of the month, and an embroidery club that meets the first Tuesday of every month. And those 2 clubs are participating together to make charity quilts, which those are distributed during the Feed the Need on Thanksgiving Day in November. And over the past 2 years, we have distributed more than 45 quilts to people who participated or attended the Feed the Need. And that's just a heartwarming, wonderful thing to do. So next month, the first Wednesday and Thursday of the month of March, we'll be having another charity quilt workshop. And that is open to anyone who enjoys sewing, even those folks who don't sew. We need pinners, pressers, coordinators, people who can coordinate the fabrics together. There's a variety of duties available. So if anyone is interested in participating in this, it's not just for Family and Community Education Club members. They're the ones that have got this going, but we would love to have other people join us and assist us with this project. That's a wonderful project.
So you're after more than 45 quilts?
Sure, yes. We can use more than 45 quilts. And these are used even beyond that Feed the Need. If we find a burnout victim, or if we just know someone in need, we'll get them a quilt to them.
That's so the youth are obviously in a huge part of your work here.
A very integral part.
Between 4-H and this. You also mentioned that you teach which fork to use?
Yes, manners.
Manners?
I was at Deckard this morning teaching a manners class to the preschoolers, and we covered table manners as well as, just basic etiquette. And, that's needed at every level. One of my favorite classes that I enjoy doing at the high school is how to avoid falling for a jerk or a jerkette. And it is a 10-session program where we talk, about how to select, a person to date or even eventually marry, and we talk about, what you need to look at in a person to determine if they're going to be a positive mate. So it's great. It's a personal relationship class. It's one of my favorite things to do.
Do you have enough staff to do all of these things?
Not really. We're very stretched. There's a lot of people who ask me what goes on here during the night, because there's always a light on, there's always cars here. But between the 4 program areas, it seems like we have a lot going on, here at all times. So yeah, it's fun, it's exciting, because it's different every day.
And I'm going to hop to Jonathan here a moment ago. Both of you have mentioned this to me, and you have a chick day. I think it's coming up in May this year.
Well, that's when we're going to be getting chicks in. That's where we've got, I think we just ordered 50 sets of chickens. And basically it's our 4-H chick chain we do for elementary, middle school, high school students, anybody who's 4-H age can do it, 4th through 12th grade. And basically they order a set of chickens and they get 15 baby hens, or you may get a rooster too. They get 15 baby chicks. They're about 2 days old when they get them, and they take them home and they're going to raise them for 26 weeks. And we normally do it where they come back and they show during the county fair, but this year we got them ordered just a little bit later than normal. So it's going to be a little bit later in the year when we do our chick chain show and auction. But we'll invite all our 4-H'ers back, and they'll bring 5. They'll pick out their 5 best hens, and they'll bring them, and we'll show the different breeds against each other. And we have a really good judge who comes from Rutherford County. His name's Michael Shirley. He's a former extension agent. He comes and judges. He talks with the 4-H'ers, the youth, and kind of finds out what they've done with their chickens, what they fed them. He'll pick them up and check the egg ducts, kind of feel the bustling. He's looking for, kind of uniformity when he's judging the chickens. He'll go through and place them. And then afterwards we have an auction. And I think last year they averaged, they sold really well. They sold really well last year.
They sell the chickens that they raise.
Mm-hmm. They sell the 5 they bring back to show. And last year they sold really well. We had some really great buyers and some really great birds that we exhibited at the fair.
And so people that buy these, they buy them to eat, or they buy them
primarily buy them for eggs, for the eggs
production?
and because they know they're buying some high quality birds from our 4-H'ers.
We want to get some pictures of that May Chick Day. John, you mentioned you work with beef.
Yeah, the Master Beef Producer Program. It's a program where the beef producers can get a certification to help with the Ag Enhancement Program. It's one of the requirements for some of these grants through the Department of Agriculture. They have to meet so many educational requirements to get increased cost share funding.
So, and that's with adults. Do you work with youths, Jonathan, on beef and other animals?
We do have a few that show. We've got one family, the Hopkins. They show Hereford cattle. We have I've got a 4-H'er from he lives in Elora. He shows boar goats. And I have another 4-H'er who shows dairy cows. She shows several different breeds, and then we had 8 4-H'ers last year who exhibited horses at our regional and state horse shows. So we may have a few more this year. I've been talking to a few that are interested in maybe showing goats or cattle this year. So we've got anywhere from 10 to 15 youth exhibiting animals in a given year.
And Ed, I'm going to turn to you for a minute and talk about technology and farming. I read a lot of magazines, and I probably don't know half as much as I think I do. But farmers are turning to GPS devices and other things to measure water in the soil, et cetera. How does that
Not
work?
necessarily water. Most of the GPS applications is dealing with the equipment. There's a lot of applications for it, but most of it, finding their location, the thing that you see probably gaining popularity is auto steer, where they can make the turn, basically turn and through the GPS unit, it will precision guide the equipment for the next pass. And sprayers are operated on the same principle, so that they don't overlap. It helps in reducing. You see more and more technology where that equipment you can add on to where if it's already planted, the planter shut off and it doesn't plant more seed. Or if the sprayer's already sprayed it, it doesn't spray it twice. So there's a lot of things in that technology world that
Farmer, there's not enough markup in the raw agricultural product for much sway in there. So cost-saving measures are important to a farmer.
It's very important, and it's going to be important. We're looking at, we've had 3 years that have just been super years, what I call grand slam. We've had 200 plus bushel corn. We've also had, around 60 bushel soybeans. And that didn't matter really where it was double cropped or single cropped. Wheat has been up there 90 to 100 bushel an acre. Cotton, 2-bale cotton, so some 3-bale cotton. So, the water that we've had the last 3 years has really played a big role in production. With that, we've got a glut of production, not just in Franklin County, but throughout the country, and therefore prices are going to be somewhat depressed. So if we have depressed prices, also looking at possibly some weather changes, that was one thing with our grain conference. We consult with a weather consultant to give us an outlook, what they were looking for weather for the next year. So with that, yeah, it doesn't look as attractive as it has the last 3 years. But, that's all ahead of us. And
Are we losing farmers or gaining them in
no,
Franklin County?
they're losing. And then that's all part of the technology. The day somebody invented the plow, and then the day they invented the tractor, and the day the more technology we add, it just takes fewer and fewer people to do the same job. So, when I came here nearly 25 years ago, there was a lot of farmers farming, a 1,000-acre row crop farmer was a big farmer. Today, that's just what it takes to run the equipment. So, they've dwindled, but that's part of technology.
So is there, I gather you work with large farms?
Well, we work basically with anybody, from that standpoint.
Well, I can remember calling John out on several occasions to the Shelley Road Produce because we had something we didn't know what it was.
Right.
So
But it's really larger, or here it's more family farms. Now, some of them make their living full time some of them part-time, but we basically work with all groups of farmers, or all people for that matter of fact, if it deals with agriculture, and a lot of times even if it doesn't deal with agriculture.
Now, on agriculture, agritourism, what is the phrase that they use to talk about using agriculture as a means to attract people that spend money just to see a cornfield or the like? Is that a growing feature in our community?
Well, the Dixon family has been the most successful with that, with Granddaddy's Farm.
Granddaddy's Farm.
And then, of course, the Robinson family down in Belvedere have some agritourism attractions at their farm as well. So I do think that it is something that is catching on. A lot of people perhaps maybe are not going as large as Granddaddy's Farm, perhaps maybe doing some smaller venues, with the agritourism. And of course, at the farmer's market, you see a variety of things, happening there. Not only just vegetables, but you've also got some canned goods coming in, some baked goods coming in, and then some items that are being made from byproducts. So I think that there's just an open door for a lot of natural things, natural products to come out of agriculture. And we're going to see more of that, I think, as time goes on, because people are embracing, that area.
And they're embracing the new food criteria too. They want it to be natural and this and that and the other thing. So you mentioned the farmer's market, and let's go back to that because you've got a new building down there with the new golden rooster on top. Bob Peters talked about that several times. So what, and I see we have prepared food now there. Of course, we've always had pies and the like, and canned goods. But what is the growth area at the farmer's market?
I think more quality vegetables, more variety early and late, with season extension. People looking at maybe high tunnel production to bring in, more earlier and more later. And certainly you've got a good facility now, and I think you'll have some more interest there on some of these maybe smaller people that want to specialize in growing just greens or salad mixes or that sort of thing. I think the sky's the limit as far as people doing a good job producing that, because we've had these foodborne illness scares from all over. You go into, we got a call the other night at home from Kroger's saying if we bought Doyle lettuce such and such number, and it was just a freak deal that they had a foodborne illness, So I think people are wanting to connect back to the farm. They're wanting to know where their food comes from. They're wanting to put a face with who's growing, what they're growing. And I think we've lost a generation or two, and now they're wanting to come back to see, we have people gardening now that have never gardened.
So who can come to the farmer's market and sell wares?
It's just, they have to, come and join the association, and they've got guidelines they have to go by. They have to produce what they sell. Most of your farmer's market now, even Nashville, Davidson County, the bigger ones, are grown by the producer. They can't come in and buy it from Bob and then sell it at the market. They have to show ownership. What they're selling is what they grew on their farm.
And what about crafts and things like that? I'm seeing quite a few of those out there too. They're really nice gifts to give, things like that. So
a lot of the markets struggle with what's allowed at farmers markets. Our thing's always been they need to be generated from their home. We have all kinds of neat crafts, and actually some of those are better things than you can buy, in a store. There's a variety of things that you could do or sell there.
Okay, and what's the first day that the farmer's market's going to be open?
We try to open about the second week in April every year.
Okay.
And close. Since we got the buildings, people are wanting to go to the end of the year.
And what's the fee to join the association?
We're working on that for the new season. Having the facility there, you're gonna be able to go start a little bit earlier and a little bit longer.
Yeah, that covered area is a benefit to some merchants. I want to thank you all very much, but before we go, I think I'd like to talk about the future. We're at 42,000 and change in Franklin County. We're growing. We have become industrialized, like it or not. What's the future of farming in the Ag Extension Office in Franklin County?
I think the future looks bright. You know, we have a lot of programs that will fit the need and hopefully meet the need of our citizens of the community. But we're a great resource, and for years we have been one of the best kept secrets. But certainly we have some extremely knowledgeable folks here. If we don't know it, we'll find out. We've got the university, both the University of Tennessee and Tennessee State University, with knowledgeable professors and so forth up there that can be a great resource for us. But we encourage folks to come out and see what Extension is all about. And March will be Extension Month, and that is the month when we celebrate our Extension service. And, you know, we've been around for many, many years, and we hope to be around many, many more. But during the month of March, be sure to watch, you know, all of your social media sites for information, for stories, for you know, programs that we're hosting here at the Extension Service. And towards the end of the month of March, we'll have an open house. So we invite you to come out and eat with us, find out what Extension's all about.
All locally grown?
All locally grown and locally cooked. We have Ed Burns over there, who's a great cook. And last year at our open house, he fixed quite a feast for us, and it was great.
All right, well, I want to thank you all very much for spending some time with us today. I appreciate the work you do for the community, and thanks for joining us here today.
Thank you.
And that is the County Buzz for this week. Thank you for watching. If you spot us on Comcast Channel 3, you can also find us on our Franklin County Buzz page, Twitter, most of the social media. I'm Dick Wolf.